Confident. Ms. Watson Coleman.
Thank you, sir. Good morning to you. I have a couple of questions that have to do with the Newark Airport. I also have some questions regarding just air traffic controllers in general. Could you just tell me, what is the starting salary for an air traffic controller?
So it really depends on the facility, but we bring them in as an academy student in roughly that 45 to 60,000 range. As I mentioned earlier, we've incentivized new academy people to join us at 30% of that increase. But when you get to a facility, it really depends on the facility. It can range from anywhere from the 60s and 70s all the way up to a fully certified professional controller can be in the 145 to 150 range.
And that depends upon how large the airport is, how busy it is, et
Correct.
cetera.
There's levels. Yes, ma'am.
Where is the Newark Airport in that sort of?
I will have to take the IOU on what level the controllers are at Newark. I should know that, but I do know that that is a well understood for the tower specifically. I'm not sure the level of the tower there. And then obviously we have the controllers at Philadelphia Area C, which is controlling some of the incoming to Newark.
The problems with the Newark airport delays,
Yes, ma'am.
what percentage of that delay or those delays were due to staffing issues, staffing shortages, and what percentage of it is due to infrastructure that's old and needs to be replaced?
So there are three primary reasons for the delays. First and foremost is weather, and that is the constant one. The second is the outages that we were experiencing that we are working through and fixing now. And then the third is staffing. So staffing continues to be a challenge for us. I would say that we have 27 certified controllers going that are operating in Philadelphia Area C now to manage the air traffic going into Newark. And we have 22. We just got 6 new people going through training now. So we will be healthier towards the end of this summer for Newark specifically in that Area C. So I'm confident in that the delays will be reduced for going in there. In fact, even working with the airlines through our recent delay reduction effort, we will be here shortly and probably next week at a 34 rate, which will be able to manage safely through that air traffic system with the controllers.
So is it infrastructure, is it congestion, or is it staffing that is going to delay Newark being up and ready at its capacity in October, as opposed to July, August, September?
I would say I'm confident that by October timeframe, the technology issues will be resolved. The Secretary's been very clear with me that we need to fix this, and we're fixing this now. The second piece to that is the staffing. I think by October, we will be very healthy in there at staffing levels that we need. And then, of course, the weather is always going to be one of those challenges.
So I know, sir, that there were not cuts to the air traffic controllers, but as my colleague mentioned, there were cuts to staff that support those functions. And I'm wondering, to what extent, I understand that in February, Elon Musk's Doge folks came there with their chainsaw, and as a result, 400 people were let go or went on their own. Is that accurate?
I would clarify by saying that there were 400 probationary employees that were terminated, 360 of which returned to the FAA.
Why did they return? Because they were, because it was wrong to let them go?
It was a court case. My understanding of the court case ended up having those probationary employees be returned to
So
duty.
I know that you've been in service in your capacity for quite a while. Were you at all consulted when those 400 people were identified to be released? And did you have any input on whether or not that was going to impact your ability to do what we all agree is your primary function, is to make sure planes don't crash into
Right.
one another or into grounds?
Right. So I certainly was in the chair. I've been in the chair for 4 months now. I was in the chair when those decisions were made and was consulted as to how we were going to manage through that period of time. Again, I would say that We preserved the safety critical positions, and we made sure that as we were working through the probationary employee situation, that we were managing the workload these folks were there for probably less than a year, obviously for the probationary terminations. But at the end of the day, what we did was we consulted with the leadership teams in each one of those lines of business.
Thank you, Mr. Administrator. Apparently, they are needed, though, in that capacity, and so I'm glad that they are back. I thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Thank you. Sheriff Rutherford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.